Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the meeting, and my name is Charlie Miller, Supervisor of Construction for Frederick Water, and I have with me Connie Henry, Purchasing Agent for Frederick Water. On behalf of Frederick Water, we'd like to welcome you to this meeting. We're very excited to see you guys' interest in it, and let you know this meeting is being recorded, and we appreciate your adaptation and patience as we work through the new way of doing things. So this conference procedures, when you get a chance, could you please sign in to chat with your name and organization? I have the list of everyone that was registered for the meeting, and we will send out a sign-in sheet along with some Q&A and a link to the recording of this meeting at the end. Questions at the end of this will be typed into the Zoom group chat, or they can be emailed to Connie at chenry@frederickwater.com. We'll want to see all questions that way. So the agenda of this meeting, this conference, is we're going to go through the project scope. We're going to talk about the project schedule, and we're going to talk about procurement requirements of this project, and then we will open it up and answer questions that we've already received by email and ones that you type into chat. The one thing you won't see on there, and we'll go ahead and talk about it, is project budget, and because we've been getting a lot of questions about that. This project was not part of our capital improvements program. This came into being just in the past couple months. We don't really have one set, so we need you guys to tell us. Project scope. We have a classic A to B. We need point A, water from point A to point B. We are building a new water treatment plant. A lot of you are aware of that, and the bid opening for that project is on Friday at 2 p.m. It is in the middle of a field. We need raw water to it. The original plan was to go to the Opecking Creek, and we still will at some point, but the quarry agreement came up recently, and we're going to go to there first. The quarry is on an adjacent property, and it's going to have a guaranteed 1.7 billion gallons of storage. We think it's going to be more like the 2 billion gallon. There is a state road, 836 Walters Mill Lane, a CSX rail, and hot run that separate or are on the boundary of the two properties. The project scope will consist of a raw water intake structure and a raw water pumping and conveyance system to the head of the plant. We want it to be designed at 8.3 MGD, which is the max capacity of the new water treatment plant. There will be further performance specs and project criteria that will be included in the RFP. I can go ahead and say, kind of due to constraints of the access to the surface of the quarry, when the water level is where we think it will be once dewatering operations stop, we do not foresee having a floating barge or exposed piping and equipment. But there will be further performance specs and project criteria attached to the RFP. Going to kind of give you a virtual tour with some very recent pictures, very recent being yesterday morning. On the next slide. So on this slide, this is the quarry. You can see my pointer. This is the deepest part here. In the RFQ towards the back, there were a couple pictures, ortho pictures of elevations. Those pictures were taken in January of this year. The quarry is done, operations are done in this East Pit quarry number 4. and they are just have dewatering operations going on right now. This is the deepest part. Obviously, you can see there's a sump and a pump down there for their dewatering operations. I'm going to show the property boundary of Frederick Water. Frederick Water owns all the way up basically to the CSX rail, to this corner, and then our property boundary follows this tree line down. The treatment plant from this in this picture will be built right here in this general area. This is an aerial that is the wall that is the closest to our property. In this picture here, you'll see the CSX rail. This is State Road 836, Walters Mill Lane, and this is Hot Run. Our property boundary is right here. This is the far corner of our property boundary. This is the wall that's facing it. In the next picture, we get a little bit above, once again, State Road here. Our treatment plant is up to the top right. Our property is above, right above. We flew down into the quarry a little bit yesterday to get a more straight on shot of the wall that is closest to where we want to go. You can see it's stepped. There are no side mines in this quarry. It was all surface going down. Some of these walls are 30 to 40, 50 foot high between benches. Benches are 20 to 30 foot wide. We can get probably some more information on that from Carmuse America is the one that is doing the active quarrying in the area. We have a very good relationship with them. I talked with their plant manager, quarry manager yesterday about this project and how we would move forward. Some of the basic things I probably should say now are if any contractor at this project is going to be working inside of the quarry for more than 40 hours, they will need to be MSHA qualified. They're doing a daily screening of contractors on site of COVID-19 checklist, we'll say. A lot of people are with, contractors coming on site, making sure that there was no exposures, no one has a fever daily. And the team that is the part of this quarry, we have, like I say, we have a very good working relationship with them. Once the team, contractor and design build team is together, we will probably sit and meet with the quarry team and go over particulars of access as well. So a little bit about our procurement schedule. It is inside of the RFQ, but we wanted to kind of just go over it again to go over key dates. The deadline for questions, all official questions must be received on May 27th. We will have those turned around in 3 days answered. Submission of the statement of qualifications will be on June 10th. I apologize if you were one of the first ones to download the RFQ. There was a wrong date on the cover sheet that said June 3rd. June 3rd, we corrected that and sent out the correction, but the official date is June 10th at 2 p.m. Interviews, if required, will take place on the week of June 15th, that Monday, Tuesday. Probably take place on Zoom. We haven't worked out the particulars of how that will work, but that's what I would anticipate. And the short list will be released on June 19th. The project schedule overall, I wanted to throw in some dates on this. They don't relate, they're not particular to the RFQ specifically, but they do give a broader picture of what we're looking at. As I mentioned earlier, this will be the water source for the treatment plant. The treatment plant bid opening will be on Friday. We hope to have the notice to proceed and contract signed within 60 days from that date. And it's a 2-year project, tight 2-year, but it is a 2-year project. We need to have this project fully commissioned and operational before they will test with potable water, and then once we start to make water for VDH approval, we will need a raw water source. So looking at the project schedule for this quarry intake, we will issue the RFP on June 22nd. That is the Monday after the Friday that we will release the short list of qualifications. Submit the proposal August 4th and have some interviews if needed. Proposal will be selected on August 14th. We will get a board approval and then execute the contract on August 21st. We need and expect this project to be fully commissioned and start up by December 15th of 2021. And now I will turn it over to Connie to kind of go over some of the procurement requirements of this project.
Our project is funded through the Virginia Department of Health, a state revolving loan fund. It does have minority and women-owned business requirements. It will be Davis-Bacon, and we will have to meet the American Iron and Steel requirements. It will have all the VDH contract inserts that are typically required for their projects.
Okay, thank you, Connie. So this meeting is pretty short and simple. We're going to just move into questions now. What we will do is, like I say, we have questions already sent to us, so we're going to go through those. While we're doing that, if you have any questions you would like to ask, go ahead and type those in to the group chat and we will address those. So one of the questions received was, can you tell me when the aerial of the quarry was taken at the back? It was taken in January. I think I covered that already. Can the agency provide detailed boundary maps of the properties? The areas presently owned, permanent and temporary easement by or for the agency the project will be built within. Yes, we could send those out as part of this. I'll pull the parcels and any necessary easements that are in that area and include those in the next addendum. Provide a list of environmental and other permits the agency had to obtain to construct the water treatment plant or any that are underway or obtained for this project. For this project, we have not obtained any permits. For our funding, we did have to go into some cultural, environmental studies and that are going to kind of carry over because it's on the same property. So a lot of that won't have to take place. But for the plant, the owner obtained the Virginia Water Protection individual permit. We obtained the Army Corps of Engineers permit. We obtained the Virginia Marine Resources Commission permit. We obtained a VDH Public Works construction permit. And we also obtained a Frederick County site plan. The contractor for that project will obtain building permits, trade permits, Virginia Stormwater Management Program permit, and a Frederick County land disturbing permit. So we would anticipate that permits will be, for this project will be likewise. Okay, Connie, you want to go through this?
Sure. Can the agency provide a copy of the agreement to be executed by both parties? We will provide a copy of the agreement during the RFP process. Charlie, I think the next question.
I did.
Okay. Who owns the risk of not completing the project on December 15th, 2021? I think that's yet to be determined could determine that during the RFP process or through final contract negotiation. The next question was, are there substantial completion and final acceptance milestone dates as well? I'm sure there will be, but they are yet to be determined. Will there be liquidated damages for not obtaining final completion or other matters of which liquidated damages would apply? Yes, I'm certain there will be. Can the draft RFP be made available now? We're not going to make that available now or in advance. Will the agency consider shortlisting 2 teams based on the statement of qualifications and compete during the RFP phase of the procurement? I don't think we'll commit ourselves to just limit the number of teams who we choose to shortlist. So the answer to that would be no, we're not going to commit to that. Will there be a stipend associated with the RFP phase of the project? At this time, a stipend is not being offered. The duration from notice of shortlisting on June 19th and to prepare the RFP response, agency evaluation, contract review by legal teams, execution of the contract on or about August 21st seems suspect. Does the agency have outside counsel? And if so, identify. And is there an engineering consultant on board to assist with the RFP evaluation? The answer to this is it may seem like an ambitious schedule, but we hope to stick to that schedule. And we do have outside counsel and we do have an engineer representative. Both are listed in the statement of quals. The legal counsel would be McGuire Woods and the engineer rep would be Panoni.
Okay, thank you, Connie. All right, we've got some questions that were typed in the chat. I'm going to read them out loud, and either myself or Connie will take them. One second. All right, so we have from, I'm going to drag this over and share the screen. You guys probably already have the chat up, but can you provide existing and proposed water utility lines? Yes, so some of these proposed ones are part of our treatment plant design. There were some raw water lines heading that direction of that property, but they are not that way. Everything was going to be to the west of the plant, but we can provide that as well as with the boundary maps and the parcel in easement. I'll put those together. Do you have the railroad permit? We had some crossings for the railroad that were originally designed. We think that we're going to be able to hopefully convert those secured crossings over to this. That is something that we will need to work through with the team though. Will the owner pay for the railroad protective insurance? Yes, we will pay for that. What will be requested in the RFP?
I don't have a copy of the RFP in front of me, so
If we
can answer another question,
yeah,
and we can
pull we'll move on to the next one. And if we can't answer all these, if we don't feel comfortable with our answers, we will answer them as part of the addenda.
And we've not, let me say this, we've not fully have completed our RFP. Also, I mean, we're still putting in the requirements and what we're looking for as far as completing the design and stuff. So I will say that we haven't completed the RFP process.
Okay. Will the owner pay for the railroad flagging if required? I think that would be necessary. I don't think so. That
we'll have to see what's required. That rail is very, very, very rarely used. It's kind of a rail that goes to the quarries and came from the quarries. CSX does operate it. It's not a quarry operated rail, but the rail master for that area I've dealt with, and he's very good to work with. So I'm not concerned, but no, we will not. We're not going to have like a separate line item for railroad flagging. Was a preliminary engineering report done for the intake? No, we do not have that. This is a very new agreement with Carmuse America. It's new to us as well. Can we provide a sample contract?
We will with the RFP.
Is there an engineer's estimate or budget for this project? No, we do not have an engineer's estimate for this project. The engineer's rep, could not hear who the engineer rep was. Engineer's rep.
It's listed in the statement of qualifications, and it is Pannoni and Associates.
How far along is the design? Well, you saw the pictures. That's about as far as we've gotten design. This is a design build project, and part of the RFP will be a presentation of the approach that the design build team will take. So we don't have a design. We have some ideas in our head of how it can be done, but we leave it up to the design build team to present us their approach and design. There's some of the other questions we had received by email, and I do want to go over again. All questions official questions that need official responses need to go to Connie at chenry@frederickwater.com. Type of intake. Is this a tunnel shaft, bridge and tower, truss, underground intake, or overland intake? To be determined is the answer. Like I say, looking at the water levels, one of the things we will say in the RFP is that we want to pull water from the lowest point possible, economically and with constructability issues taken into account from the quarry, so that we can have consistent water quality year round. Other elements of work that will involve geotech tunnel design. We don't anticipate anything else at this moment. What condition will the quarry pool be in when turned over to the contractor? Pool elevation, can you show on one of the previous shown images? Sure, 1 second. So this is looking down. This pool that you see in this area, there is a sump right where my pointer is right now that this pool drains into. There is plenty of groundwater coming in at all times, and it is running continuously. The last I was down there was a couple of weeks ago, and what was the flow? I don't recall. They were pumping over 2,000 gallons per minute at the time, I believe. I think so. I think it was 1,800, 2,000. And that was after a rainfall. But they will be continuing dewatering operations until July of next year. And they have the equipment. Carmuse America has the equipment to help us out. Like I said, I talked to them yesterday about things, and they said, hey, we've got the equipment we can take down there to create a good platform if needed, get access to a bench, whatever the team decides they need, they will help us out with some of that. But that dewatering operations will continue until July of next year. What degree of design will be requested in the RFP phase? The
60.
30.
I think we 60.
Hold on 1 second, guys.
30
30.
during the RFP phase.
Yeah, for the RFP phase, it will be 30%. Has an updated hydrogeologic study been performed to support an 8.3 withdrawal from pit 4? The plant is 8.3, and we have other water sources in the area, including the Opequon Creek. Carmuse America is going to continue to move. They have property almost up to the state line, and they will continue to move their operations, and they will need to continue to dewater. So we would like this intake and pumping system to be able to handle the max capacity of the treatment plant of 8.3 million gallons per day.
We have permanent access to the quarry.
Will Frederick Water eventually own the quarry? We have permanent access to that quarry. Give a couple minutes here for any last minute questions. It is what we think the final, okay, the question is, what is the final normal pool elevation? We have estimates that are included into the hydrogeological study in the RFQ of what that level will be. We anticipate from about 300 feet of water from where the quarry is at now, so like 100 foot down from the edge of the quarry. I forgot the elevation on top of my head, but we anticipate that. Will a price proposal be part of the RFP?
Yes, in a separate envelope.
All right, as we're getting these last questions in, I would like to thank everyone for joining us and being patient. We will send out a sign-in sheet, basically everyone that was here and had signed in. So if you had not, please do so by typing your name and organization into the chat. We will also send out a link to the recording. I think I can even get a text of the chat that we can include into that. We will include these questions that were asked, as well as the answers that were given, and any questions and answers that we have received already and have answered, and we'll post along with this first addenda to cover this. The preliminary budget of 5 to 10 million includes GMP price to be negotiated on the second phase of construction.
So, question.
Is the only pit and quarry system involved in contract? If the other, who is responsible for connections and modifications between the pits? This quarry 4 East Pit, you'll see it called different things, but that is the only quarry that is involved in this contract. So this has come up quite a bit. How many reference projects are you expecting to be included in the statement of qualifications? I know there was the requirements for like projects completed, qualifications seemed high for a project like this, I'm sure, to some. Moving water from point A to B at elevations and quarry work, things like that are going to be very beneficial to this project team, I believe. It would be hard to find 5 exact type projects like this in the state of Virginia, and it would definitely be hard to find a contractor who's done 5 or design build team that's done 5. we understand that, and we look forward to seeing qualifications that are presented. Okay. If you think of any other questions, do send them to Connie at chenry@frederickwater.com. We would like to thank you once again for your time and all of your efforts so far put together. We are looking forward to seeing the teams that are created, and we also look forward to seeing the statement of qualifications on June 10th by 2 p.m. One last question. We will answer that. Yes, considering your last statement, may you specify the new requirements for the experience on the team? I didn't say there were new requirements for the experience on the team. I did say that we understand that there is going to be a struggle for a team to say they meet the exact requirements, but we will grade those likewise. Okay, thank you all again once again for your time. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a good day.